What is going on, kid family? Today we have a pretty cloudy day, a little bit of rain, but that is all good. We are going to be heading to Bullet's garage this morning. We are going to be installing coilovers on his LEXUS GSF. So take a ride with me. Let's go to Bullet's garage. So for those of you that don't know, the LEXUS GSF is pretty legendary. I think they came out with the car in 2015. It's a four-door sedan, big brake kit, everything you can imagine, sports suspension, bigger four-door saloon, and it comes with a naturally aspirated 5.0 legendary V8 motor, naturally aspirated, like I said, high revving. The thing's a monster, and while most of these cars are going forced induction, whether it's supercharger or turbocharger or twin turbocharger, this car stays NA, which is nice because if it's more of a daily driver or something like that, it is a lot more reliable than its German counterparts. But we will have to lower this car. As Bullet Garage says, the reverse rake on the car is crazy. And what I mean by that is that the front end of the car sits a little higher. There's more wheel gap than the rear of the car, which makes it look like there's sandbags or you got two 12-inch subs in the back. So in order to eliminate that, we're going to put a coilover suspension kit on it. That's going to give us a lot of adjustability in the ride height and dampening as well. So we're going to go through the whole process of installation with Bullet's Garage. We're going to tell you the pros and cons of coilovers versus spring and coil setup. So stick around, guys. Should be a good video. Here we are at Bullet's Garage. He already has the car on the jacks. There's Bullet himself. So this is the 2016 LEXUS GSF. This is the legendary 5.0. He has a few mods. He has a K&N housing here. He also has a little breather kit in the back, and he has an oil catch can as well. All his videos are in his YouTube channel. As you guys can see, he is running wheel spacers because LEXUS failed on the stance and fitment of this vehicle. So he's running some spacers in the front, spacers in the rear. They're obviously staggered wheel spacers, and these are the ones where you have to put in the extended studs and put the wheel spacer on there. So what's the size of those wheel spacers you got, front and rear?
We got 15 millimeters in the rear, 20 in the front.
20 in the front. So the front setup is really bad. How that you got to space it up so much?
It's a pretty narrow wheel in the front, and the offset's very high, so we needed to push it out a little bit to be flush with the fender.
And again, the front wheels are right here. They're not as wide as the rear, so you got to do what you got to do to get a good fitment going. And in today's video, as you guys can see, we're going to be removing the factory shocks, the factory springs from the rear. Likewise, we're going to be removing the whole suspension from the front. Should be fairly easy. I see a lot of room here. And we are going to be replacing it with coilover suspension from CKS? All right, CKS. Oh, they gypped us. They sent us an empty box again. This is the second time this happened with this company. Where the coilovers at, man? Wow, look at those bad boys, as Bullet Garage says. Very nice. Look pretty good. How much dampening adjustment are on these?
24-way of dampening.
24-way, front and rear.
Front and rear.
Front and rear 24.
Stainless steel collar.
They're pretty nice. I wish they had a different color on them, maybe orange, to match the brake calipers, but it is all well. So if someone wants to do this, how much is it gonna set them back?
These coils were about $2,100 with the upgraded Swift springs, but
So what do you mean by upgraded Swift springs? What does that mean?
well, Swift springs are a much better company. They're known for having better springs compared to the factory that comes with this, which I don't even know what brand it is. But everybody upgrades to Swift springs. I have 14 kilogram per millimeter rating in the front and then 10 in the back, so the compression of the spring.
So it's a stiffer spring essentially.
Yes.
So what was the factory? Do you know what the factory spring rates were with these? They were probably lighter.
Oh yeah, factory spring rates are a lot lighter. I'm not sure the exact number at the moment, but they're nowhere near as stiff as these are.
Okay. So this company pretty much, so CKS pretty much makes the housing for all this, the gas shock, but they utilize a different company for the spring itself. Swift springs have been around for years. They are very popular in the Honda game. They have progressive and linear springs, whatever you need for your application. So enough talking. We got the legendary Lexus. We got some legendary coils. Now a lot of people are putting coils on these cars because this is more of a luxury car, not a tuner. But as you know, we can't keep a car stock. We have to do some mods. Whoa, what is this, man? You already gutted the trunk, huh? I feel like we're doing a repair, rear end collision repair now.
We're doing weight reduction. Gotta gut this baby.
Wow. So that's pretty cool. That's where the shocks are. That's what we're gonna remove, and that's it. Well, this is a good time to check. Make sure we're gonna be vacuuming all this dirt that's in here out. This is a good time to check if the car has been in any previous accidents, if you see anything that is off in the trunk. But everything looks good. This is a Lexus, a legendary, like Tall Guard Car Review says. This is legendary stuff that we're doing here. So stay tuned, guys. We're gonna fix this puppy up. So we dropped the factory shock out of the housing, out of the car. We are currently installing the new coilover. Big difference in size. Oh, we gotta weigh the next ones. We gotta weigh the factory one. You got a scale somewhere here? I want to weigh the factory shock and the coilover shock and see the difference in weight and see how much we're saving or gaining. Hopefully we are saving. I'm gonna record a little bit more of the next side for you guys to show you guys the whole process. Quite simply, you have to remove 3 bolts here, 1 bolt here, and lower bolt right there. Once you remove that, you can quite simply drop the shock and install the new one. So we got one side down already. The passenger side front took us about 20 minutes altogether. Coilover is installed. Very simple. We are definitely gonna have to do some adjustments on the coilover in order to set the proper ride height, but once we get all 4 corners done, lower the car, we're gonna start experimenting. As you can see, he already wrote down some factory height numbers, so we're gonna adjust, measure, adjust. Now the hard thing about coilovers is setting the right height of the car is the challenge here once you install coilovers. It's a tedious process, requires a lot of back and forth. That's why sometimes people might want to just choose shock and lowering spring, just install it once, let it settle in, and there's no more adjusting needed. But if you want to fine tune your stance, your vehicle's ride height, coilovers are definitely the right way to go. If you're running aggressive wheels, aggressive wheel fitment, coilovers are going to give you a lot more flexibility in getting the car to run and function properly with a crazy stand setup or such. So again, we did weigh the factory front coil equals 13 pounds. Then we weighed the front aftermarket coil, 10.8 pounds. So we are shaving roughly 2.8 pounds from each corner in the front. So roughly 6 pounds savings in the front, which is nice. We'll still measure the rear and see how much weight we save with the aftermarket coilovers. Look at that beauty.
Just doing a little cleaning up over here.
So why did you choose coilovers?
I chose coilovers because there's no aftermarket shock for the LEXUS GSF that you could couple with a Swift spring or any other kind of spring. So the stock shocks are known to leak and blow, so I didn't want to have to do all this work to only have the shock blow 5,000 miles down the road. If there was an aftermarket shock setup, I would have done that, but there wasn't, so I got coils.
Yeah, so I mean, most of the time when you install lowering springs on your stock shocks, you could still probably get about 5, 10, 15,000 miles on it with decent quality ride. But after that, the shocks are taking a lot of abuse because you're shortening their regular range of motion, and that causes more wear on the shock. So I was also against a spring on a factory shock. I told them don't waste your time swapping everything just for that short amount of period. Definitely better to either bag the car, which there isn't much options for the LEXUS GSF. Again, this is more of a saloon luxury, so there's not a lot of aftermarket
Need your help, bro?
parts on there. What's going on here?
I need you to hold the knuckle so I could work this out here.
Holding the knuckle.
Actually, hold on.
They don't say I do work on cars, but I work on my cars, guys. I put in the hours. We're on our last corner right now. Once we install this new coilover, put everything back, go for a ride. Hopefully doesn't need too much adjusting, because adjusting takes a long time to get it perfect.
Yeah. Oh my god! We are slammed, bro!
Impression on video.
Bro, we are slammed!
First impressions. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, now that everything's lower, it looks a little better from the rear. Again, we didn't adjust anything yet. We just kind of mocked it up. Doing the final tightening of some of these bolts. The front, definitely, this side looks even higher than factory in my opinion. This one looks pretty much like stock. The only side that has any difference to it is this side. And this is the side that we actually kind of had to tighten the shock down a little bit, so it's compressed a little more. We're gonna take the car for a little spin just around the block. Tell you guys, this car sounds amazing. This thing, naturally aspirated V8 5-liter, amazing music to my ears.
Way softer than stock.
Softer?
Yeah.
Alright guys, installation is complete. About 5 hours later, we did the front, we did the rear. We also readjusted it twice, checked the calibration, make sure the ride height is, for the most part, very similar. Car looks really well, as you guys can see. Much better than factory. The front wheel gap is pretty much diminished, and it just looks proper. It looks like the way it should have looked when it came from factory. So definitely big shout out to the CKS coilovers for making it happen.
So it looks a little bit better. The front dropped it a little bit because I want that reverse rake look a little. So that's how it's going to stay. Really want to shout out Blue from Modern Japan, because without him and his information about what spring rates to choose and upgrading to Swift springs, I would not be enjoying this ride right now. This car rides much smoother and softer than the stock factory system.